And you know, were there problems that you faced personally जब आप ये सारा
Oh, yes, why? Not only problems, threats and being banned from football for life.
and is that threats on your professional career
On both, on me as well, because when I was fighting against ISL, I was getting threatening calls because I was fighting against Ambani. And I'm still fighting against Ambani because I have nothing against ISL. What I have against is that they can't own the national team. They can only own ISL. They can't own I League or second division or women's league. Or they put money there and make it as big as ISL and own it, no problem. But you can't say that you own it and you're going to kill all other properties. Why? Because you just want people to look at that. Basically, you're killing Indian football.
Hello everyone, welcome to Football Unplugged with me, Satvik. And today I have none other than the legend himself, if I can say that, Mr. Ranjit Bajaj, owner of Minerva Football Academy. Ranjit Sir, it's an absolute honor doing this interview with you and welcome to Football Unplugged.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Perfect. And for everyone, how big, how crazy Mr. Ranjit sir is in a very good way. He's just come back from his academy, ready for this interview without, having food or anything. So that is the sort of dedication that this man has. So thank you so much for that.
Bro, you got to eat, breathe, sleep football, and that's when you make it.
And I think you are the epitome of, eating, breathing, and sleeping football.
And that's where the results come.
Correct.
And I wish everybody does that in my country. And if we do that, we'll have more crazy people like me. We'll reach there faster.
Yes. Sir, so I'll not talk too much about Minerva because you've already done that with a lot of people, right? I just wanted to know the man behind Minerva Academy, right? So I know that you've played for the under-19 Indian team as well, right? But how did football start for you? इतनी जो obsession है, where did it actually come from? कहाँ से stem out हुई basically?
See, bhai, it's all. I started football like most Indians do at a very late age because we pick it up from school. And I was 12, 13 when I started playing. By the time we played a lot, I played 2 or 3 nationals for Chandigarh, under 16s and under 19s. And that's where I got selected for the camp and then for the Indian team. So it was not that I was playing football to get selected there. I was playing football because I loved the game. And when I went there, and when I knew that our training standard and our training methodology was not as good as the West, but we went and competed in the Asian School Games. And when I saw that the boys who were playing against me went after that, this is 1998. 4 years after that, 7 of them went into the 2002 World Cup, played for South Korea's team, and they came third.
Yeah.
So that was an eye opener. That why does India compete till the junior level at a good stage and then they fall back? Or they can't sometimes even compete with the big teams in the junior level. And it's because we start so late. So abroad, when I say abroad, I mean Europe, boys are making their debuts by the age of 16, 17.
लामीन यमाल ने कल 16 साल की एज में डेब्यू किया है.
15 यार, 15 में किया.
हाँ, जब उसने डेब्यू किया था 15 स्टार्ट. हाँ.
बट इमेजिन, तो ये इंडिया में एटीट्यूड आता है. 15 में तो हम यहाँ पे स्कूल में खेल रहे होते हैं. नाउ इसीलिए जब मैंने पहली बार शुरू किया, I wanted to have the record for the youngest ever debut, means my team.
Yeah.
In the I-League. We did that the very first match we played. We had the youngest ever guy to play in I-League was Bodo that time at 16. And in fact, he became the youngest ever to score at 16. Yeah. Then Thapa, who was playing for us, he scored at 17. Then Himanshu Jangra scored at 16. Then we've got Toybas King who scored at 15 and he scored. Then I made him play in the AFC Asian Championship. He scored there. He became the youngest ever to score in Asia in AFC competition. Yes, that still holds the record. So it's not because they were good. It's because someone gave them the platform and the confidence to play. Now those boys guaranteed destined to do well. Like all the boys who were played in the World Cup squad, under 17s, are doing well. Because they played international level at a young age. And they played against the best in the world. So if you do that from the age of what? Actually 10, 11, 12. That's the age they should be getting exposure. And it has to be an annual process. So यहाँ India में क्या होता है? Suppose even under 16 है कि हम देते तो हैं exposure. Exposure देते हैं but budget आता है under 16 का. उसके बाद वो बजट में आता है कि 4 करोड़ रुपए हैं तो कैसे खर्च करने हैं, तो लेट्स गो फॉर 20 कंट्री टूर। दैट्स व्हाट
एक साल में कर
एक साल में नहीं, वो 6 महीने नहीं, 3 महीने में कर देते हैं। So they go for 3-month tour, and that's what our under-16 team this time did when we drew with Real Madrid 3-3. But you don't get better in that tour.
Correct.
But if you do a tour every year, you tweak it according to what you see. You play against the best in the world, and you compare yourself against the best in the world at that age. So that was the entire dream. The dream was that we had to get India to the World Cup. So from minute one, when we started our club, there was always a junior team. From year one, that is 2015-16, we always had an under 15 team. And when there was under 13 league, we had an under 13 team. Under 18 obviously was there. And that is why currently, because 2009, unfortunately, after COVID, there's been no junior league. 2019 tak, we were currently the under 13, under 15, under 16, under 18 champion of India. And again, not because हम कोई rocket science कर रहे हैं, हमारे पास पैसे नहीं है, क्या है, hard work है. So we play, the kids play 12 times a week. Morning, evening, eat, breathe, sleep, football.
तो सर अब देखो, आपने कहा जब 1998 में 99 में जब आप अंडर 19 खेल रहे तब भी ट्रांजिशन प्रॉब्लम थी, राइट, फ्रॉम द जूनियर, अभी भी है। ये 20-22-25 साल हो गए और क्यों चेंज नहीं आ रहा है, क्या लग रहा है?
और 20-22-25 साल ही हुए हैं, बिकॉज 1970s तक वी वर कंपीटिंग विद द वर्ल्ड।
यस,
ये ग्राउंड में प्रॉब्लम आई है, द डाइट में प्रॉब्लम आई है, न्यूट्रिशन में प्रॉब्लम आई है, रिकवरी में प्रॉब्लम आई है। पहले इंडियंस जो खाते थे, जो इनको मिलता था, क्योंकि स्पोर्ट्स साइंस नहीं था, तो इंडियंस खाते थे वही अब्रॉड में खाते थे। नोबडी यूज्ड टू बी ईटिंग avocados or eating right or doing carb loading or having proteins only for recovery or white meat, बिल्कुल different things. तो इंडिया में भी वही चलता था, so there was no sports science, there was no recovery. People were having parties one night before, drinking, smoking, doing everything. Correct. And this was in the Premier League till the 1970s, 80s. So then we were equal because it was about skill. The moment these things kicked in, we didn't kick it in. Abhi tak Chetri is the only one who eats right in the Indian team. Now, because of Chetri, the entire Indian team is eating right. And why is the guy playing till 37, 38? Because of his diet.
And because being the best player in the team.
Recovery, nutrition. You think if he didn't eat right, he could play at this age? No chance. So if we give these, और ये बहुत difficult है कि तुमने पूरे ह्यूमर परांठे खाए हैं और उसके बाद जाके तुम इंडियन टीम में जाके तुम कार्ब्स में सिर्फ पास्ता खाओ, मुश्किल है। तो ये आदत कहाँ से पानी है?
अंडर 13, अंडर
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11। बिकॉज उस टाइम पे आदत पानी बहुत ईजी है। तुम बच्चे को जो दो वो खाएगा और वो आदत पड़ जाती है। अगर बच्चे को तुम पहली बार पास्ता दो व्हेन ही इज 22 एंड एक्सपेक्ट हिम टू ईट एवरी डे, ही विल हैव चीट डेज एवरी सिंगल डे। वो अपने वहां अंदर जाके कुछ खाएगा, तुम्हारे सामने कुछ खाएगा।
तो सर, is this something that you were very particular when you were, आपने कहा आपकी अंडर 13 फॉर एग्जांपल जो गौथिया जीती, तो when did you get these guys and like were you very particular about their diet from day one?
From day one, because they are known, उनके shirts पे, track suits पे from day one, अभी से नहीं, printed है वर्ल्ड कप बैच, यहाँ पे लोगो लगा हुआ है वर्ल्ड कप का, उसके नीचे लिखा हुआ है 2034। तो उनकी मैनिफेस्टेशन हो रही है कि तुमने ये वर्ल्ड कप जीतना है, जाके 2034 में जीतना है। तो उनको पता है। तो जब इनका बैच बना था 6 में, they are with me since the age of 7 and 8, all of them. So it's been now 4 years. Most of them have been 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. They've already had 10,000 hours. So today that team went and played with a senior team and drew with them 1-1. They are used to playing teams which are much better than them and beating them. Because now the mindset is such. So Gautia Cup में जब हम गए, ऑलरेडी जो ग्रुप का नाम था गौतिया कप चैंपियंस था। Why? Because that is the belief you have to put in them.
And that is what we want them to, have a clarity on as well.
और ये इंडियंस में प्रॉब्लम है। सो प्रॉब्लम ये है कि जब हमारी इंडियन हॉकी टीम अब जाके जर्मनी से खेलती है या स्पेन से खेलती है, वो सोचते हैं हमने कितने गोल मारने सालों को। इंडियन फुटबॉल टीम अगर जर्मनी से खेलेगी, क्या सोचेगी कि कितने गोल। तो ये माइंडसेट। बट मेरे बच्चे, अगर मैं हर साल इनको लेके गया ऐसे,
क्यों माइंडसेट नहीं होगा इनका?
हर साल हराएंगे तो 19 साल पे क्यों नहीं हराएंगे? 18 साल पे हराए तो 19 पे भी हराएंगे, 19 पे हराए तो 20 पे भी हराएंगे। फिर जब वो इकट्ठे होकर इंडिया के लिए खेलेंगे, उनके बेस्ट को हराएंगे। तो ये अगर मेरी जगह सारे कर रहे होते तो हमारा पूल बहुत बड़ा होता। ये नहीं कि हम नहीं पहुंचेंगे, मैं कर रहा हूं अकेले, हम नहीं पहुंचेंगे, बट पूल बहुत छोटा होगा। एंड दे विल बी गुड इनफ बिकॉज पूल छोटा है कुछ नहीं है. क्यों आइसलैंड पहुंचा है? आइसलैंड की 3 लाख पॉपुलेशन है. 3 लाख हमारे दिवाली के लिए देते होते हैं. ये मेरा फेवरेट डायलॉग है.
Yeah, I've heard this a lot. So, sir, मतलब, why do you think it is not happening, right? Like,
Because-
it seems like Minerva.
Because everyone is into commercial thing. All the clubs, unfortunately, I-League clubs, ISL clubs are looking at their senior club victory that year. How to make sure they get it. So who suffers? एक तो women's team suffers, एक kid suffer. The first thing a club does is अगर थोड़े से पैसे ज्यादा आए तो किसी फॉरनर को दे दो क्योंकि मेरे को स्ट्राइकर बेटर चाहिए. अब मैंने so I have to walk the talk. मैं तब से बोल रहा हूँ कि foreigners having so many foreigners can be also a very big kind of a stab to your own back. Because अगर तुम 6 फॉरनर अलाउ करोगे, कोई भी कोच इंक्लूडिंग मी 2 स्ट्राइकर 2 मिडफील्डर 2 सेंटर बैक खिलाएगा, स्पाइन खिलाएगा. फिर वो कहते हैं नेक्स्ट चेत्री कैसे आएगा.
And we don't have a
और हमारे जो बेस्ट स्ट्राइकर्स हैं उनको ये फॉरेन कोचेस आके
winger, bench.
लेफ्ट बैक एंड राइट बैक खिलाते हैं. मनवीर सिंह
हाँ.
को लेफ्ट बैक राइट बैक खिलाया हुआ है. तो हमारे मेन स्ट्राइकर्स कौन है? गुरकीरत आने वाले, गुरकीरत सिंह, हिमांशु, विक्रम प्रताप विंग्स पे खेल रहे. चेत्री क्यों अच्छा है? चेत्री since the age of 16 has always played as a striker in every club he's gone to. He has never missed a match. अगर चेत्री को उस टाइम पे जब वो बड़ा हो रहा था, दैट मींस 20 और 25 उम्र के बीच में विंगर खिलाते तो कभी स्ट्राइकर बनता ही ना वो.
एंड सर मैं ना हमेशा बहुत लोगों से सवाल पूछता हूँ कि हु इज द नेक्स्ट सुपरस्टार ऑफ इंडियन फुटबॉल. को है ही नहीं कोई अभी हमारे.
तो ये क्वेश्चन तेंदुलकर के बारे में पूछते थे, हु इज द नेक्स्ट तेंदुलकर, फिर हमारी फटती थी. फिर आया विराट नहीं, धोनी. फिर हम पूछते थे नेक्स्ट धोनी कब है. फिर आया कोहली. कोहली के बारे में कोई नहीं पूछता फिर नेक्स्ट विराट कोहली. हजार है इस टाइम पे, कोई नहीं पूछता. क्यों? ग्रासरूट्स क्रिकेट का इतना तकड़ा हो गया है कि तुम हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में जाओगे तो डिस्ट्रिक्ट के ग्राउंड में सुपर सॉपर मिलेगा जो 2 करोड़ रुपए का होता है. हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट गेट्स 20 करोड़ ग्रांट. डिस्ट्रिक्ट. सो जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट की टीम है हमारी जो है इतनी तकड़ी होती है सीनियर, वो किसी इंटरनेशनल टीम को तकड़ा देगी. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल इन नेपाल एंड ऑल दीज एसोसिएट मेंबर टीम आर डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल टीम और इवन एक्चुअली लोअर. सो आई एम नॉट किडिंग व्हेन आई से दिस. The district boys who don't get selected even in the state teams are in the international teams of other countries.
Correct. And that जो Canada, UAE,
US. My boys are there in the US team.
Yeah.
And they're superstars there. They're the best there.
और यहाँ पे वो state team में भी.
तो यहाँ पे जो फुटबॉलर्स आते हैं वो कौन से हैं?
जो उनके surplus हैं.
So that is the thing which is happening right now.
Sir, like talking about you, आपने कहा है ना बाकियों के लिए commercialization है, senior team है, रंजीत बजाज के लिए क्या motivation? What keeps me going कि यार?
See, my thing is that I know I will get India to the World Cup. Okay, and it will be in 2034, and I guarantee it. Why? Because I can see
it on camera.
I'm saying it on camera. I've said it so many times. So it's not that मैंने यार मेरी shirts पे printed है 2034. It's not about saying it. उनकी shirts पे printed है World Cup 2034. And unless you believe it, see you have to aim for the sun, man. And not just aim. ये नहीं कि मैंने aim बड़ा लगा लिया. You have to devote your life to it. Eat, breathe, sleep. Eat, breathe, sleep. Even if you don't get the aim, you'll be somewhere near the aim. And if I'm somewhere near the aim, it's better than that. If I say I have to be the best in Asia by 2034, I will not even be the best in SAF. Aim has to be there. Work towards it. You will be there or somewhere nearby. So the competition is who? We have to be better than what we were yesterday. So I'm not competing with Germany. I'm not competing with Brazil. I'm competing with those boys who are there right now. They have to be better than what they were yesterday. Simple as that. If I'm able to do that for the next 6 years, they'll be world champions. Simple.
So, like, you know, I've listened to a couple of your other interviews. आपने जब मिनर्वा को राउंड ग्लास को बेचा था, right? You said कि यार मेरी motivation.
मिनर्वा नहीं, पंजाब. So मिनर्वा पंजाब था, मिनर्वा को हटा दिया, पंजाब एफसी को बेचा.
So sir, वही ना, like, I just want to understand, you know, money वाला है तो what is the 2034 World Cup your ultimate goal in life? Like, is that what makes you get up in the morning, do everything, 9:30 बजे रात को 10 बजे interview देना है?
Definitely. Not only that, it's about The whole revolution will start the day we have an Indian playing in the Champions League or in the top European League. We are waiting for the first Mohammad Salah of India, first Park Ji-sung of India, which will turn the country around. You just need one.
And is there a name that comes to your mind?
No, not at that level. And does a name come to my mind which is going to happen in 7, 8 years? 10 names, 15 names. The entire batch of my World Cup, 35, any of them can make it because they're competing with the world's best today. And they're beating their asses. So if they continue to do that, we will be there.
So एक you know 30-40 करोड़ का 50 करोड़ का बजट जो एक मुंबई के पास है एंड जो एक आई एम नॉट इवन श्योर व्हाट द बजट ऑफ
So the budget of see I'll tell you जब हम आई लीग जीते हमारा पूरे क्लब का बजट इंक्लूडिंग माय 13, 15, 18 एंड सीनियर टीम वाज 1.4 करोड़. उस टाइम पे मोहन बगान का एक प्लेयर होता था सनी नोडे. उसका सैलरी था 3.9 करोड़. So one player's salary was 3 times the salary of the 3 times the budget of our club. Right now the budget of an I-League good club is around 18 to 20 crores is what Roundglass spent to win last year, 24 crores, 22 crores. So people like Gokulam or Srinidhi, 15 crores, 20 crores, Mohammedan Sporting, 15, 20 crores. Our budget will never go up more than 3 to 4 crores. Why? That's where I have a factory. मेरे अपने लड़के इतने हैं. सो मेरा काम ही उनको क्या है गेम टाइम जितनी भी मेरी सीनियर टीम्स हैं it is meant that 60%, 70% of the boys have to be boys from my own academy. And those are the boys because I know I'll be able to give them game time. I know I will play Himanshu as a striker. Yeah. And he'll get game time. So will Fahad. So will Akash, who's just played against Real Madrid under 17s and he'll play. So they will be getting solid game time and I know these guys will play for India.
And Himanshu Jangra was so solid in the Duran Cup as well, right?
He was. And imagine he's 19.
Yeah.
So he can only get better.
Correct. तो सर 2034 रंजीत बजाज वर्सेस 2047 AIFF क्या फर्क है मतलब अब AIFF इतना या तो सेफ खेल रहा है क्या खेल रहा है
2047 विजन में उन्होंने जो बताया है there are no see the vision is great the vision is same as mine in fact if I wish I could have had that vision but I don't know if I'll be alive in 2047 so that will be a wrong vision to have I can say 2100 में ना इंडिया वर्ल्ड चैंपियन होएगा ना मैं होऊंगा ना मेरा चाचा होएगा उस टाइम पे who's going to question me
correct
so you have to give
accountability
yeah accountability transparency now Japan as a club Japan has a plan they have a 100-year plan then they have a 50-year plan but they also have a 20 and a 10 and a 5 and a 1 and it's counting backwards so if you want to say something in 2047 में मैंने ये करना है उसके लिए you can only reach there if by 2034 you've done something and you can only reach in 2034 if for example 2026 में उन्होंने कहा कि हम अंडर 17 फीफा वर्ल्ड कप बॉयज एंड गर्ल्स हम मेरिट पे पहुंचेंगे ठीक है दैट मींस अंडर 16 में तुम्हारे को टॉप 4 में होना पड़ेगा एशिया में
करेक्ट
सो एक साल काम कर लिया 2026 में 2025 हो गया तो इसका मतलब अभी 23 तुम्हारे पास अभी अंडर 14 टीम होनी चाहिए जो मैच खेल रही होनी चाहिए कौन सी कंट्रीज के पास जो हमारे बिगेस्ट हैं जापान साउथ कोरिया ईरान सऊदी अरेबिया इनके पास अंडर 14 टीम्स हैं हाँ कितने मैच खेलते हैं साल के वो 20-25 इंडिया के पास टीम ही नहीं है हम कब बनाएंगे जब अंडर 16 AFC अनाउंस होएगा उससे एक साल पहले उनको फिर 20 टूर पे भेजेंगे और फिर वही होएगा इतना सा रह जाएंगे जो हो रहा है सो इमेजिन इफ यू स्टार्ट नाउ एंड नाउ अंडर 14 टीम को यू गिव देम एक्सपोजर एवरी ईयर एंड ये नहीं है कि लड़के नहीं है you've got a ready-made batch with Minerva, you can take them all. But the point is giving them exposure every year. But not only Minerva, if you have your under 14 league, you'll be able to find so many more.
And हमारे जूनियर लेवल पे मैचेस ही बहुत कम होते हैं
भाई होते हैं but उनके रिकॉर्ड ही नहीं होते हैं. So this is where we can really excel. Indians are the best in we are better than the Europeans in IT. They hire the best Indians to be analysts in the Premier League clubs.
Correct.
This is where we score over them. So we should have a technology where ऑल स्कूल मैचेस नेशनल्स के होते हैं SGFI के होते हैं फिर ये हमारे सुब्रोटो वाले होते हैं फिर रिलायंस के होते हैं इमेजिन इफ ऑल द डेटा इज देयर CBSE नेशनल्स होते हैं ये क्लस्टर होते हैं ये सारों होते हैं एंड द सम ऑफ द गुड फुटबॉलर्स जिनके पेरेंट्स उनको नहीं खेलने देते गेट लॉस्ट इन दीज टूर्नामेंट्स बिकॉज तू पढ़ाई का चुप कर रहा है कुछ नहीं कर रहा है But if suppose AIFF picks them up and says, "Oh my God, you're going to be in the national team," the parent will say, "Oh my God, yeah, bro, go." I mean, yeah,
मैं sponsor करूंगा सब कुछ तुम देख.
imagine.
तो सर लाइक AIFF की इन पे अकाउंटेबिलिटी का है, मतलब ये चीज अब वही सेम रेपिटेशन हो रहा है राइट कि हर बार ये हो रहा है, एक साल पहले हम टीम बनाते हैं, ठीक है, व्हाई इज नो वन होल्डिंग AIFF अकाउंटेबल? और
Because there was no accountability, there was no transparency. That is why my battle from day one when I entered AIFF as a club, 2015, my main battle was against Praful Patel. And from day one, I stood up to him. In fact, I was the most vocal critic of Praful Patel. Every day I was banned or fined or done this because I was speaking out against him. Because India being a democracy, you can't have a guy who is not in power because of elections. And then you can't have the same guy for 20 years because it's not that, then it's not a democracy. And that was, and then ऊपर से क्या, India is the only country जहाँ पे हमारे sports bodies were being headed by non-sports people. So अगर तुमने कभी जिंदगी में नेशनल नहीं खेला है, फुटबॉल नहीं खेली है, तुम्हें प्रॉब्लम्स ही नहीं पता कि फुटबॉलर क्या गो थ्रू करेगा, so you can never solve them. Whereas the guy who's done it all in his life is already this much ahead of you.
Correct.
Then you can't have in your bio that you're a member of Minister of Aviation, you are a member of Parliament, you are this, you are that, you are that, and the end also he has a president. That
उनमें आता है.
yes, that has to be number one.
Correct.
You have to eat, breathe, sleep football. That was missing. So the petition was filed. दो चीज की petition file की थी सुप्रीम कोर्ट में मैंने. एक के sports bodies have to be headed by sports people. Second was that sports code has to be followed by all state federations. Because अगर AIFF में भी changes ला दो and state से हमने अपना करना है, जो अभी कर रहे हैं वो, they're still happening, then there's no point. So they have to be held accountable. Accountability क्या चाहिए कि तुम्हारे को minimum एक साल में अपनी senior state league, women's league और junior league सारी करानी है, which is the minimum thing you can ask for. Then they say कि हमारा 1.4 billion में से हमारी फुटबॉल टीम नहीं बनती है. बट एक्चुअली हम बना कितनों में से रहे हैं जहां पे फुटबॉल होता है. फुटबॉल कहाँ कहाँ होता है?
नॉर्थ ईस्ट.
नो सी, कैलकाटा में, नॉट इन बंगाल. कैलकाटा, नॉट इन मुंबई, ओनली इन मुंबई, नॉट इन महाराष्ट्र. कोल्हापुर में बहुत फुटबॉल है, पुणे में है, उनके बंदों को अलाउ ही नहीं करते मुंबई में खेलना. मुंबई का चैंपियन जाता है सेकंड डिवीजन के लिए, नॉट कोल्हापुर का, नॉट पुणे का, वहां पे भी तो होता है. सो 2 cities प्लस स्मॉल स्टेट ऑफ गोवा प्लस पंजाब plus northeast states, small, and Kerala again small. So हमारी total population जिससे हम ले रहे हैं ये is not more than 20 crore. तो 20 crore की टीम है.
And 20 crore में भी बहुत selected है.
और वो भी सिर्फ मेट्रोज में. और असली प्लेयर निकलते हैं टीयर 2, टीयर 3 से. मेट्रोज में कभी प्लेयर नहीं निकलेगा because the hunger, I'm not saying नहीं निकलेगा because वो hunger नहीं होता.
वो struggle नहीं
होता. वो आएगा, he'll have talent, he'll do it for 1 year and then he'll leave it because he's done it, he doesn't want to. जो hunger है ना, that you will find in a Dhoni. Now, by the way, why I said Dhoni? Not because I say like cricket. I love cricket, but it's not because of that. It's because Dhoni was a footballer.
Yeah.
We lost him to cricket. Leander Paes was a footballer. He was a winger. One of the best wingers in Calcutta, were playing around with the best footballers of that time and lost him to tennis. So imagine, ये तो हमें पता है. Imagine कितने नहीं पता हमें.
And असली इंडिया टीयर 3, टीयर 4, टीयर 5 यही है.
बिल्कुल. और वहां पे बिल्कुल नहीं जा रहे. वहां पे फुटबॉल है ही नहीं बिल्कुल.
And sir, like जैसे आपने बोला, मैंने petition फाइल की, ये किया, and I've always seen this. It's AIFF versus Ranjit Bajaj. So it must have been difficult for being a club owner.
See, everybody thought that it was all because I wanted to be AIFF president. Or I wanted to be getting into AIFF politics.
Is that something that you plan to do?
No, never. That's the last thing I would do because then I would be away from what I love doing. And I wouldn't be able to do it because, see, I have been champion of Chandigarh. There's the different federation. Punjab, Himachal, Delhi. I can now be president in all of them if I want, if I stand for elections because I've proven my credentials. But I will never do that because I don't want to get into this. I will not get to my dream. Then I'll be part of the system.
And, were there problems that you faced personally जब आप ये सारा
Oh, yes, why? Not only problems, threats and being banned from football for life.
And is that threats on your professional career,
On both, on me as well, because when I was fighting against ISL, I was getting threatening calls because I was fighting against Ambani. And I'm still fighting against Ambani because I have nothing against ISL. What I have against is that they can't own the national team. They can only own ISL. They can't own I-League or second division or women's league. Or they put money there and make it as big as ISL and own it, no problem. But you can't say that you own it and you're going to kill all the other properties. Why? Because you just want people to look at that. Basically, you're killing Indian football. And then you can't say that we will appoint the national team coach. And then you can't tell the coach that you can only select players from the ISL teams. Why?
is it something that is still happening?
Yep. You have to be in the ISL, and that's a private tournament. So, an I-League is the AIFF tournament.
Yes.
So, you can't select players. Doesn't matter. Even if Messi comes, I mean, Indian Messi, comes and plays for one of the clubs, scores 50 goals in that season, he won't be selected. Unless he goes and plays in the ISL. So, that is where I had a problem. That merit is what sports is based on, and merit should be only the deciding factor. That's why I sold Minerva, Punjab FC. When I sold Punjab FC to Roundglass, was because at that time, that was my other battle. At that time, there was no promotion.
Yeah.
So I had said very openly, you put Minerva in the 6th division. If we are good enough, we'll get there. But you can't tell me that we're not going to get to the top league because तेरे बाप के पास पैसे नहीं है. ठीक है? तो अब अगर मैंने 18 करोड़ देने हैं, मैं अंबानी को दूं या मैं अपने बच्चों पे खर्च करके उनको वर्ल्ड कप पहुंचाऊं. मैं 2 करोड़ रुपए खर्च करके सारी टीम रन करके इनको वर्ल्ड यूथ चैंपियन बना चुका हूं. मैं अंबानी को क्यों दूं?
तो सर मुझे ये बताओ, ये जो अभी भी जैसे राउंड क्लास में 20 करोड़ दिए, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, राइट, क्या किस चीज का पैसा? जस्ट टू पार्टिसिपेट इन दैट, जस्ट टू बी एन आईएसएल क्रेडिट?
यस, दैट्स इट.
दैट्स इट.
तो मतलब हाउ डज दैट हेल्प आवर कंट्री in any way whatsoever? Not only, I'm not talking round glass, I'm talking about all the.
Yeah.
अगर सपोज ये सीरियस है, इनका हर एक क्लब का एक क्लब का बजट है साल का 40 करोड़. एक साल के लिए क्लब बंद कर दें, 40 करोड़ दे दें, एंड इमेजिन यू कैन ओपन 20 मिनर्वास. दैट ईयर 20 मिनर्वा का काम हो सकता है उस टाइम. इमेजिन दैट. ऑन एन एवरेज, बिकॉज वी बीन इन एग्जिस्टेंस फॉर नाउ 8 years, इफ यू लुक एट इट, इन 2 साल कोविड में बंद थे. ठीक है, सो बट स्टिल से 8 years. 8 years में अगर हमने डिफरेंट एज ग्रुप में 180 प्लस इंटरनेशनल दे दिए हैं, इमेजिन अगर 20 मिनर्वास होती तो कितने देती?
सर अब ना जैसे आईपीएल भी, मैं आईपीएल का रेफरेंस दे रहा हूँ इस चीज के लिए कि इतना कमर्शियलाइजेशन हो चुका है. अब जैसे संजीव गोयन का भी आ चुके हैं, राइट?
ब्यूटीफुल.
सो यू थिंक इट इज गुड फॉर?
यू नो व्हाई? बिकॉज आईपीएल का जो पैसा है वो जब कमाती है बीसीसीआई के पास जाता है. बीसीसीआई को कहां खर्च करना पड़ता है? कैन दे कीप इट टू देमसेल्व्स? नो, दे हैव टू स्पेंड इट बैक ऑन इंडियन क्रिकेट. ग्रासरूट्स, एवरी डिस्ट्रिक्ट रिच, ग्रासरूट्स 1000 विराट कोहली. अब जब ये आईएसएल किसी ना किसी दिन पैसे बनाएगा, जरूर बनाएगा, इंडियन फुटबॉल बड़ा होएगा, 5 साल 10 साल, तो पैसा कहां जाएगा? एआईएफएफ के पास? नहीं,
ये एआईएफएफ के पास
नहीं. आईएसएल का पैसा अंबानी के पास जाएगा. Because the broadcaster owns the league. 90% of all revenue from in Europe, Premier League ले लो, MLS, जहां मर्जी ले लो, सारा ब्रॉडकास्ट रेवेन्यू से आता है. यहाँ पे the broadcaster owns the league.
100 million आई थिंक प्रीमियर लीग की उनको मिलता है.
So imagine that अगर तुम्हारे पास ब्रॉडकास्ट रेवेन्यू नहीं है, you can never be successful.
Like अभी my assumption was these guys, the IFF clubs are getting some amount of
no,
money.
they get 16-17 now. This time 16-17 crores. They're giving 18 crores. So they're coming to break even. But they're paying 30-35 crores on up salaries and running.
And अभी सारे clubs losses में.
All are in loss. It's been 10 years now. And how many clubs have shut down? Original 5. Original में से 5. अब आई लीग के 3 क्लब हैं इस टाइम पे वहां पे. 4. पंजाब एफसी, बेंगलुरु एफसी, मोहन बगान, ईस्ट बंगाल. So you have to see how long will corporates keep doing it, because उनके लिए bottom line really matters. For example, Par Jindal very very wisely invested in cricket, और उसने कितने लगाए? 500 करोड़ दिल्ली डेयरडेविल्स में, जो अब कैपिटल बन गया. उस क्लब की वैल्यू अब है 7000 करोड़. 500 करोड़ में उसने 50% लिया. 500 करोड़ आई गारंटी यू स्पेंट ऑन बीएससी बाय नाउ. उसका वैल्यू क्या है? कुछ नहीं. So why won't people invest in cricket? Because that gives you money back. यहाँ पे the less and less people will stop investing. Why? Because end of the day, corporates are not in it for love of football. They are in it for the bottom line. इनको दिख रहा है कि 20 साल के बाद मिलेंगे, but नहीं मिलेंगे. अगर If a private entity owns the rights to your league, how will you make money? That's what I've been trying to say and trying to fight. People think I'm against ISL. I'm not. ISL is great as long as the money is given to the club, not to.
तो डू यू थिंक कोई जो क्लब है अभी आईएसएल में इज इज देयर फॉर द यू नो पर्पस ऑफ सर्विंग इंडियन फुटबॉल? कोई नहीं है आपके अकॉर्डिंग? कोई
No,
है?
I tell you, for serving Indian football, for the I would say Bangalore FC comes the closest because they have an academy. They are doing it the right way. They have a residential academy. So and that stems from the fact from day one they were doing it, and that's because they've got a beautiful facility in Bellary. They've got their own city, so that really helps. And they are even doing a good job in Bangalore. And most of their teams always have the core of the Indian national senior team. So they're doing a service to Indian football. Gokulam is doing a great job for women's football. I have a lot of respect for them. Why? Because something which I could not do, they did, and they become the champions. They're representing us in the AFC. None of the ISL clubs have been able to even come near them. They should be. Why? Why aren't? See, if an ISL club wants to do something, imagine they can right now be champions of Asia. Because none of the other countries are investing in women's football, they can do it.
And केरला ने तो बंद कर दिया
क्योंकि उनको फाइन लगा. मेंस टीम को फाइन, सी मेंस टीम को फाइन लगा, मेंस टीम बंद करनी चाहिए ना फिर. And the women's team was shut down. And the same way, they get 2 crores a year, all the ISL teams, for running their academy. And that's my budget. How many national titles have they won? 0. How many players have they produced for the senior team in the country? 0. There has to be something wrong somewhere. And I'm not saying I'm doing something great, because I'm not. I'm doing something very, very basic. Bare minimum. मगर तुम bare minimum करो, तुमको रिजल्ट मिलते हैं. मतलब ये bare minimum भी नहीं कर रहे. तो
मिनर्वा 8-10 साल से कर रहा है, राइट? दे हैव द फ्रेमवर्क इन फ्रंट ऑफ देम, दे हैव अ टीम हु proven this formula, right? Why is it happening? Like, क्यों बाकी क्यों नहीं?
I really thought that first there was a lot of doubt because बोल रहा था मैं, but जब एक बार करके दिखा दिया, not only करके दिखाया, I showed them it's a great business model. I showed them that your I-League budget, if you are an I-League club, will be halved. In fact, you can actually make revenue from selling players. For example, the biggest loan deal ever done in the history of Indian football, I loaned Mohan Bagan pe Anwar Ali, and I'm going to get 2.5 crores for 4 years from a loan. Imagine that.
And India में एक टाइम पे सोच भी नहीं सकते कोई इंडियन
and football. Imagine that. तो इसको अगर मैं बेचूंगा, क्यों? Because मेरे academy से निकला है. So imagine if you have a pipeline like this, you can run your budget with just one player sale every year. And who are the people doing it? Ajax.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you know the best academy in the world? I still think is Man U. Why? Because, and I'm not a Man U fan. Okay.
You were an Arsenal. You were an Arsenal.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So I'm not a Man U fan.
Yeah.
Why? Because अभी तक 100 साल की हिस्ट्री में उन्होंने कोई भी टीम नहीं निकाली है जहां पे उनका फर्स्ट 11 में एक अकेडमी का लड़का नहीं है. You really think every manager who comes in gives a rat's ass about their history? No. No. He will want the best team to play, but the boys are so good that somehow they get there. Now, do not have money to buy players? They do. Barcelona academy के कितने लड़के हैं उनके इस टाइम पे? Oh my God!
Then 18, 19, 17.
अब मुझे बताओ उनके पास पैसे नहीं है, वो क्यों करते हैं? और हमारे क्लब समझते नहीं क्यों नहीं करते. It's such a simple thing to do. But जो 2 करोड़ एक्स्ट्रा मिले हैं उसमें से हम 1 करोड़ लगा देंगे तो मुझे रॉय कृष्णा की 2000 और इसकी 2000 सैलरी ज्यादा मिल जाएगी because I'll be able to, maybe I get the title because of that. But you might get it, you might not get it for 1 year. If you invest in an academy, you will keep getting it every year.
And ultimately, if you are in it for the money, like you are making money this way, right?
Yeah. If you want to look at the bottom line. So you're doing both. So अगर मेरा win record loss देख लेते कि मैंने जितनी जूनियर लीग्स होती हैं जो 13, 15, 18, 16, इसमें all ISL teams take part. So we can say for a fact that all ISL teams have better coaches than mine. When I say better coaches, means foreigners, more expensive. They're better facilities than mine. Okay, they're better infrastructure than mine. They probably give better food to their boys than me. But why? There's something wrong somewhere, na?
Or something right that you're doing.
Maybe then people should follow that.
Exactly that has always been my doubt. कि यार क्यों कोई और नहीं कर रहा?
भाई, but वही बात है. अगर कोई होता ना कि सिर्फ ISL क्लब कर सकती है बिकॉज इनके पैसे हैं,
ईगो आ रही है बीच में लोगों की।
maybe it's ego, maybe they're just looking at orders from the top boss who's the commercial guy and who's not bothered about the juniors.
He's probably flipping at alliances.
Yeah, because he's not bothered about the juniors. When they say they care about India, I want to know what they've done. That's why I'm so see, मैं बार बार ये बोल के मेरे को लगता है कि मेरी बात कोई मान के खोल लेगा, और मैं अपने बिजनेस पे लात मार रहा हूँ बिकॉज इस टाइम में मेरा बहुत तगड़ा बिजनेस है बॉस। सारे क्लब को मेरे पास ही आना पड़ेगा, तो सारे बड़े क्लब्स को मेरे प्लेयर्स लेने के लिए। अगर नहीं चाहिए they'll go to a lower club and buy from there. Obviously they'll buy the best players from here. और इनको दिख रहा है कि अगले 10 साल तक मेरे पास आना पड़ेगा जो मेरे लड़के हैं। And I want other people to do it. Why? Because the Indian pool will be bigger. If the Indian pool is bigger, they don't understand. Indian football ranking will go up. If the Indian football ranking goes up, more people will watch your league. If you're in the top 20 in the world, you'll have more money coming in your league. Then your club will be a richer club. Correct. You'll be actually be able to sell players to Barcelona, to Real Madrid, to all those and make more money.
जो 100 मिलियन के प्लेयर्स खरीद सकते हैं।
Why not?
पता
But 10 साल का प्लान, तो 10 साल का प्लान किसके पास नहीं होता? जिसको पता नहीं है कि मैंने 10 साल के बाद यहाँ पे रहना है कि नहीं रहना इस लीग में। So none of these clubs have an academy. Why? Because they have never been able to plan 10 years in advance. Why? Because they're not sure whether they'll be there in 10 years or not. And that is not a winning formula.
Yeah, and that is because they're in it for the money,
or they don't know what's going to happen to this league. They're not sure because they know it might just be a very unviable thing. Because what if we keep losing money for the next? Because they were promised that within 5 years you'll break even, and by year 6, 7 you'll make money. That's not happened. So if they are saying that what if in 10 years this happens, और हमने academy पे 100 crore लगा दिए, because लगाने पड़ेंगे 100 crore. If you want to build up a good world class academy, तो वो कह रहे हैं हम क्यों लगाएं, अगर हम 10 साल के धोए ना पे तो वो लॉस जाएगा। अब ये सारे सोच रहे हैं, तो अगर मैं भी ये सोचता तो गए थे फिर।
तो सर बहुत लोग कहते हैं कि Ranjit Bajaj is that rebel, right, against Indian football. There's this other part of him, someone like an Anwar Ali wali story, right? I've heard it from other people. I've heard tidbits from, I just want to know from him, क्या हुआ था Anwar Ali के साथ पूरा, and why did Ranjit Bajaj?
Anwar is, because of the experience you have in football and the numbers which go through in front of my eyes, numbers of boys, I can come to know from a very young age this guy has a temperament and this guy will go really fast. इसीलिए मैंने कहा अगले 6 साल में कोई नहीं है भाई, बट 6 साल के बाद 10-15 आए इकट्ठे।